Hello, hello, hello. Do you know, I was looking at a very scary statistic. And according to Diabetes UK, there are 5 million cases of diabetes in the UK at this moment. And the surprising thing is that nearly 900,000 of those cases are not formally diagnosed. So there are people actually living in the UK at this moment in time who have diabetes and don't know it. And the other statistic was that one that I found really, really interesting was that 9 out of 10 people with diabetes have it due to not having a very healthy lifestyle. It's linked to an unhealthy lifestyle. That was in a new report in the Lancet of Endocrinology. It was so interesting because they're saying by 2050, 1 in 8 people will be diabetic. That is scary. 1 in 8. That's 1.3 billion people of the world's population. That just blows my mind. It really does. Because how do how do you actually, if you've got a long term association with dieting and diet mentality, and you're maybe used to buying foods that, have a high fat content or a high sugar content, and, you've not really been able to look after your own blood sugar levels because you really don't know these things. You don't know your own physiology very well. You might not know your psychology, your personality, and also, as the report said, your ethnicity plus your practical circumstances will all have an effect on whether you have, could end up being diabetic or having type 2 diabetes linked to an unhealthy lifestyle. So, they're not really saying that, if you're a certain, ethnicity, it'll all depend on certain things. And that's why I'm always saying in my videos, you need to try and understand your own physiology a bit better, your own psychology, your own personality, your own practical and personal circumstances. And it's about finding a way that you can look after your own blood sugar and maybe understanding when you're full, when you're not, when you're having a craving, what types of exercise affect how much you have a craving. So you really have quite a lot of balls to juggle in the air. And when you don't really understand, then it can be a really hard road for people to, try and find these things out. And it's always something that I've been deeply interested in and trying to help as many women as I can defeat dieting. Many women who are perimenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal like myself, who need to try and look after and mind their weight for as long as they possibly can, because you are going to face so many more health risks than might not be necessary if you were able to find a way that you could find sustainable fat loss, a way that you could be mindful of your weight, a way that you could start to take your nutritional rehabilitation, look at that first, look at learning a bit more about, you can see in my feeds the amount of foods that I cook. And believe me, I'm not a snob when it comes to cooking. I will keep half tins of tomatoes. I will look for a yellow sticker. I love getting a yellow sticker. So the cost of living crisis is just as much to, me getting as much value out of the money that I make to buy some good food and make some decent things, which I share widely over social media. But that is the food that I'm eating. That's my diary. Oh my goodness me, Linda's putting up food again. I'm going to put a reel up later on. I actually bought prawns and I had a half tin of tomatoes left, and I just made a nice wee sauce that I had for my dinner tonight, and it was absolutely delicious. But of course, I've taught myself how to do that. But I'm in a position where I want to help other people as well. I've managed, I'm in maintenance. For years and years, I was an over-exerciser, practicing cognitive restraint. So, and that means that if somebody was to say to me, oh, do you want a bit of birthday cake or something? I said, oh, I'll take it for later, but I wouldn't eat it, because I was too scared that I was going to put weight on, and then I would, you'd be earning the next meal. And so I do understand, but even if you're coming in from the other area where you've been an overindulger, you've maybe not learned that you're an emotional eater, and finding out why you're eating things, why you've got cravings, why you have all of these things. So it's so important that you learn these things. And I was always very impressed by the Weight Loss Academy fat loss formula and the way that it helps women like you and me to be mindful and manage our weight to an extent where you don't really have to worry about what you're eating, when you're eating, because you're not on a diet. There are no food, you've got absolute food freedom, but you just need to learn how to balance out your food, learning how to build a plate properly, learning when, you might have a lower carb meal to a medium carb meal to a high carb meal. But, learning the formula does take a bit of time, but I'm going to be around to show you and facilitate that so that you're going to be able to learn a way that where you can start to tap in to your own physiology, your own psychology, personality, practical and personal circumstances. You can see all the food that I make. You'll be able to start to learn about understanding cravings. The fact that you can have indulgences, that you can go out, all right, you can't go crazy, but like in a diet where nothing's allowed and you're maybe counting points and things like that, you're not, because you start to understand yourself. You start to understand whether you're still reproductive or whether you've come into perimenopausal, whether you are menopausal or whether you're postmenopausal. How to understand taking that stress out your life. Oh my God, I've got a birthday party, or I'm going out, or, where you can, introduce alcohol into your life, which is your call, but it's about understanding how you can bring these things into your life. And so that you don't end up being a casualty of some prediction that's been made by, Diabetes UK, which, they are true predictions. That's basically a number of people that are living with these types of conditions that are linked to unhealthy lifestyles. But when you understand more about the type of person that you are, you understand more about the food that you're eating, the type of exercise you're doing, your nutrition, your physiology, you can link all that together. Okay, it doesn't happen at once, takes a bit of time. But if you want to come and join me on the 4th of September, that's when I'm kicking off. I have put a link on this page that you can get into my wait list. We'll be kicking off for 21 days doing a nutritional rehabilitation. I'll be with you every part of the way. Now, because I'm a dedicated Fitbro and personal trainer, I'm going to be putting loads of exercises in there as well. Now, look, there are women jumping on to the wait list, which I am so happy and excited to see, the ladies that have joined on. So if you are struggling to manage and mind your weight long term, if you've been doing tons and tons of dieting and you want to learn about a sustainable way that you could use the fat loss formula to help you as you go forward in your life, then come on to the wait list. And then I'm going to be sharing wee bits and pieces before we kick off on the 4th of September. And you'll get loads of little tidbits of information that's going to help you, get into the best shape in your life. It is just about understanding what makes you happy. So I really hope that, you can come along and join me on that. I'm going to be sharing loads of different wee things. On Saturday, I was doing some exercises. So even if you are struggling, with joint pain or sore knees or sore backs, or your mobility is no great, I'll have something for you. If you're an intermediate or an advanced exerciser, I'll have something for you. I'm going to have something for everybody in this. With loads of chat, loads of lives, loads of education, so that you can start to understand where you are and how you could make a difference to your own life, that you don't end up like a statistic, one of the 5 million people that I've just spoken about. You can make a difference to your life. So I just thought I'd pop on and, give you a little introduction on to where I'm going to be going on the 4th of September. And if you can get on that wait list, come on, join me. It's going to be a great 3 weeks. It's me. Those of you who know me, we're going to have loads and loads of fun. So hop on to my wait list and come to the Weight Loss Academy 21-day fat loss reset. You'll not regret it, not in one bit. I'll see you very soon.